Morning. Welcome to 2024. I can't even believe we're here, let alone believe we're almost 2 weeks into it. That's just crazy to me. So we're going to talk about how bringing in a foster child to our lives impacts our household, our family, our extended family, and our friends today. But as always, we need to kick off with a fun, interactive uh, question. So my question for you today is, it's your 15 minutes of fame. The headlines are everywhere about you, the news stories. What are you famous for?
I'll go first, and it's really silly, but I would say my laughter, my giggle. Very simple.
Oh my goodness, but it's so true. I could totally see you like breaking a world record for like laughing the longest,
Out
giggling the
of breath,
longest.
out of breath, my stomach hurting, all of that.
That was a good one. I mean, I can go next if, oh, go ahead, Mariah.
No, go. You go next.
Okay. I'm famous for like something outlandish and like really stupid. Like, who goes to paradise and gets a bite from a flamingo and has a parasite? Like, who goes in for abdominal surgery and comes out blind in one eye? Like, those are the things I'm famous for. Like, I am completely famous for something really outlandish and just an anomaly. Those are the things.
I don't know why, but my brain took this question in like a completely different direction. So I'm gonna go with it anyway. When you said like headlines, I thought of like people winning like the Nobel Prize and things like that. So my brain immediately went to like discovering some way that we could communicate with animals. That would be like a thing that I, again, very different than the route you two took, but that's where my brain went to answer this question.
I actually hope you do that.
I would love to know what Lola's thinking. I would love to know.
Um, Firstly, that just means that you can train her with those buttons, even though I think they're kind of creepy once we get too far into it. Bunny the dog kind of creeps me out. When she like had an existential crisis about why is she a dog and not a human. But for me, mine was also animal related that I thought of, which is lately I've been wishing that I had the means to essentially have a cat nursing home. Um, because I want a cat really bad, and I look at the adoption websites, and the only cats that I really, really want are like these old cats or these sick cats that I'm like, they need a home, and I'm worried they're not going to get adopted. And I wish that I could be the one who adopts it and takes care of them and gives them the best life for what they have left. That would be my dream. I always donate money when I can to, there's like a dog nursing home or whatever, where people take care of them. So I would love to have like a successful cat nursing home.
I just like the way you put that, a cat nursing home. I like the terminology.
And just want them to have a happy home for the time they have left.
All right, Brittany, I'm ready.
I would be famous for my wonderful acting skills. If you guys have ever been around and I had to act out any type of scene, I definitely missed my calling in the acting world. So I would definitely be, I feel that I would be a great actress. That's what I would definitely be famous for. I would love to say singing and dancing, but the singing is a little iffy. But it would definitely be the acting. I'd be a superstar.
Oh, I love that. All right, we might have to put this to the test. Well, we've got some events coming up. We'll have to see.
I can go next.
Yeah.
I think mine would be like similar to yours, Mindy, but just like something really stupid, I feel like, because I'm like, you guys probably don't know, but I'm the clumsiest person in the world. Like I'm always knocking stuff over, like tripping. I feel like it would just be like someone would catch me doing something like really stupid and record it and it would like go viral.
So you're getting your fame on like TikTok and Instagram.
Yes,
I
yeah.
see. I
Like one
love
of
it.
those random people, you know, like America's Funniest Home Videos, like that would be me. That show should be me because I'm always like slipping or like doing something stupid.
So we're all going to keep our videos running. Yeah. Excellent news.
All right, I'll go. I guess from what my kids say, I'm very weird. So I just say weird things and it just cracks them up. So what will she say next? So that's my headline, you know? People just keep on watching. So I don't know. It just comes out and I just don't realize it. So I have no clue. I don't know what I say that's weird and then make people laugh. I just don't get it.
Can we invite your kids to a meeting?
They'd be embarrassed.
But I totally love the headline. Like I like that. What will she say? Like I feel like that could be a new reality show. I love it. Hi, Sam. You're still on mute, Sam. What's going on? Oh no.
Okay, I got so my brain went with Mariah's brain where, what fantasy thing, 15 minutes of fame. I always wanted to be like a National Geographic photographer. So that's where my head went.
That sounds cool. Some neat adventures, right? Do you like to take photographs in general too?
Yeah, I do.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't do it as much as I used to, but like I've worked at a couple of studios and whatnot. I've done a couple of weddings.
That's awesome. Very cool. Melicia, what do you got for us?
I would say being too real. It's a negative thing. I would say that's what I'll be probably famous for because sometimes sometimes Brittany has to be like, no, don't say that. You can't say that. So yeah.
The world's most blunt person.
Right.
Like, no.
We're on the phone with DCF. Brittany's like, no. Yeah, Mel, don't. Yeah, you can't say that.
I wrangle her in a lot. You guys are welcome.
Oh my gosh, that was great. But I do appreciate your honesty. I do appreciate that. But all right. We're gonna, what is it, like an etiquette class? Okay. Well, I love it. We're all gonna get our fame somewhere. This is gonna be great. So that being said, all of our foster parents are gonna get their fame for what they're doing. They're doing such a huge job. And so thankful to all of them. Certainly couldn't do this work without their dedication and their patience and their collaboration. So certainly want to acknowledge that. And also acknowledge that when they start on their foster care journey, it really impacts more than just them as the foster parents. It impacts everybody that lives in their house. It can impact their extended family. It can impact their neighbors, their friendships. And so oftentimes those family and friends, they share their opinions, not just on whether someone should do foster care, but on how they're parenting, on the child that's placed with them, on how DCF is treating them, on potentially how often we're visiting, all sorts of things that people may have opinions on. And most of the time, the people that are sharing their opinions, the outspoken ones, it's not positive opinions, right? So they're hearing sort of all of this scuttlebutt. And so I wanted to take a minute to look at some statements. These are true and false. So if it's true, let's see. If it's true, put your hands on your shoulders. If you believe it's true, put your hands on your shoulders. If you believe it's false, put your hands on your head. Does that work? Okay, just a visual. These are subjective. There is no right or wrong. There's no research behind it. This is truly your opinion. So true is shoulders, false is head. I think it's key for foster parents to understand they can still live a normal life. They can still do things they love. True is shoulder, false is head. Okay, so it looks like you can take it down. Sorry, you don't have to sit there like that. I forgot. Everybody, we'll just do this all day. So it looks like everybody said true. Tell me about that. Tell me why you believe that. Why do you think that they can still live a normal life? They can still do things.
Because they're parents. They can still do things because they're parents. They're foster parents, yes, but they're parents. And I think that that's the part that foster parents forget, is that you are parenting this child. And so, yes, you can still live a normal life because you are essentially, you're still a parent.
Okay. Do parents do normal things? What's normal?
Normal meaning, perfect example, like going out to do your nails on Thursday. You can bring the foster daughter or son that you are fostering to go get your nails done. Having movie nights, you can still do that. If you have, going out to concerts, you can still do all the ordinary things that you would normally do. As a parent, you just include the child.
Love that. Thank you, Melissa. Brittany, I saw.
Oh, yes, I was just going to agree with Mel. I feel like integrating the child into your life is the easiest and fastest way also for you to just bond with the foster child, for them to see things that you like and see things that, you guys would normally do. So if you guys normally do Friday night movie night at your house, just putting them in rotation to pick in a movie and including them in, or just making sure, if you're a sports family, getting them all excited about the football game or basketball games coming in. And just, I feel like including them helps with the relationship, helps with the bond, and it helps it grow faster than you just trying to kind of take the life that you have and trying to, okay, well, I know the kid has this to do and has that to do, and kind of maneuvering your life around. Just integrate everything in, and I feel like it runs a lot smoother. And they're humans, so they have to still, get your hair done and your nails done. You're still a person too.
I love that integration, right? Lauren.
I think that it's also a good form of self-care in a way to continue to have, whether it be your hobbies or some sense of your life not changing completely. The same way that, you would for the child you're parenting, integrating parts of, their life and what they like to do and their hobbies, integrating parts of yours too, because you're both going through this huge life change, but we all need a sense of continuity, so that we all feel that there is ground under our feet, so that it doesn't, I think, without these things, we're more likely to kind of build stress. And having those things that we still like to do, like hobbies, whether it's, something like getting your nails done, doing puzzles, doing crafts, or whatever it might be, going out to dinner once a week or going out to the movies, integrating the child into that, but also having it be okay to do things for yourself that you normally would do as well. That's just for you.
So making that self-care time on your own too, like planning times for you to have your own space.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. All right, ready? Next one. True is your shoulder, false is your head. Okay. When friends and family, particularly those with children, get involved, it's a chance to build new friendships for the child. The more positive role models a child has, the greater the impact on their self-esteem and own identity. Need me to read it again? Okay. All right. So Brittany, I'm actually gonna pick on you. I'm sorry, because I feel like you are sort of split on this one.
Yeah. I do feel like when a foster child does come into a new family that they should have, I feel like any child should have as many role models as possible. However, I still feel that it is important for especially foster children to still have somebody in their past that they connect with. And they still keep that identity piece to them, whether it be a family member or a teacher or a coach. And I have to say, sometimes we might not think that's the most positive person in that child's life. However, that person still holds that piece of their identity. So that's why I was kind of split on it, because I know sometimes we might not think it's the best person and that they're not the most positive role model, but maybe having that person can still motivate the child because they're still connected and still reminded, that not everybody in their past had to be erased. So that's why I was kind of split on it.
I love that. That's a great point. And I think, Brittany, you bring up a good point that what is normal to us may not be normal for the child, and that we have to take that into account. And what is comfortable for us may be uncomfortable for the child. And so that giving them that connection to what is comfortable for them may help them adapt better. And that there's safe ways to give them that connection, right? Someone else on this statement, thoughts? Yeah, Melissa, hi.
I can say that I'm split on that too. It can be definitely helpful for the foster child, but it can also do them a disservice if the connection is negative. And like you said, Mindy, that negative thing can feel comfortable because that is their norm. But sometimes it can it can it can do them more of a disservice than help. And they don't see that for themselves initially because I've seen that happen with even siblings or relatives that they've had in their lives that they want to reach out to, and they may not come from the best situations or are surrounded by the best people and may have some negative influence, but to them, this is all I have for my family, and this is who I want to keep around. So in cases like that, you kind of allow them the space to have the communication, but you have to be very outspoken and vocal when you do see something that may lead them down the wrong path. So you want them to have it, but you kind of have to police it in a way to make sure it's safe.
Yeah, creating that safe space. So I'm gonna tangent off of this for a minute. So when you've seen a child be placed in a home where there are other kids or animals, pets, do you feel that a child can assimilate differently than when they're the only child placed in a home?
Yes, I think that depends on, of course, the child. If you come from a one family home and always a one child home and you always wanted to have siblings, it might work amazing for you. And if you come from a home that had siblings and this might feel like your norm to come into a home and feel that you have all this family around and all the support. Or it can also isolate you in a way where you feel like this is not my family. And so it depends on the child and how they are. That's why it's important to have the conversation before they are placed, as far as what it is that they like and what do they feel most comfortable around.
Lauren.
Really hope I didn't forget what I was going to say. I think that it's kind of like Mel said, like it is very child dependent. Because everybody's different. I think that having a home with other kids can be a great influence in terms of building new relationships, and hopefully positive ones, and having this kind of other form of support with somebody maybe in their age group, their peer, like a peer, or also somebody older or who can kind of give them more guidance into growing up as, through those ages, or somebody or a child that's younger, giving them a chance to also be that role model for a younger child, giving them some responsibility and helping out with them learning, different kinds of play, all this stuff. And I think that having new positive relationships with other kids and other families, whether it be like family friends of the foster parents, is great, but not bombarding them with all these new people, because I think that while it can help them build self-esteem and as they work through things and maybe get new hobbies or whatever, I think that there is often an innate sense to compare oneself to another. And even though we try to influence with positive relationships, I think that sometimes that can impact ourselves as well by thinking, well, I don't come from the same background as them. Like, I didn't have this stuff. Like, this is someone who doesn't understand me because they don't know what I've been through. So trying to be kind about understanding where they're coming from is great, is important. And I do agree that maintaining some form of relation to life before foster care is important, because like I said before, I think the continuity is super important for everybody in it, whether it be, and that can be in all different kinds of ways, but social relationships I think is really one important way, including just having a friend that they can talk to, just somebody from, if they change schools, somebody that they used to be were friends with at their old school, or a neighbor, or if it can't be a family member.
I love that you bring up, if they have to change schools, right? Because sometimes our youth don't get to stay in the same school. And these days with social media, text, it's pretty easy, particularly for teenagers, to keep in touch. So I love that. Thank you for pointing that out. All right, ready for the next one? Asking friends or extended family members to support a foster child with things like homework, recreational activities, or even like having a movie night can make life easier. All right, this one, there's a lot of indecision. Let's talk about that.
Can you read the statement one more time?
Sure. Asking friends or extended family members to support the youth with things like homework, recreational activities, even things like fun, like having a movie night, can make life easier.
I think I'm just indecisive in general because I don't like the nature of black and white absolutes as it relates specifically to things like kids in foster care, because I think there is no always, there is no guarantee, there is no absolutely this is going to make things easier. With regards to this statement specifically, do I think that certainly if a foster parent has a inner circle and people that support them maybe with their own biological kids or just are a part of their life, do I think that could absolutely help if that person takes an interest in, working with the foster child, providing some of those outside supports, giving the foster parent a break, helping with some of those tasks? Could that make things easier? Sure. But I also think there's the flip side where maybe it isn't the best decision. Maybe that person isn't the best person. So I think that's why I had hesitation with that one, because I don't like the nature of absolutes. My 2 cents.
It works if it's a trusted friend.
I'm
It's a
sorry, say
trusted-
that again?
It works in this regard if it's a trusted friend or trusted family member. Then yes, because it does take a village. And it's a lot easier to support a child when you do have help. And some people want to be foster parents, but they don't have the village to help raise the child. And so I feel like having the village can be very helpful in foster home experiences, especially with kids who you might go to church every Sunday. This kid doesn't believe in, is not a Catholic, or you're Jewish and this kid is not Jewish, in situations like religion where, now every, whatever day is your Sabbath or whatever day it is that you practice, you practice your religion, you might need someone to look over the child. And in that case, it always come in handy to have a supported friend or family member, someone that you can trust to play that village. Picking the kid up from school, that happens a lot too. Sometimes you might have to stay at work, you have overtime. We have foster homes where, sometimes the oldest sibling comes over and they help sit the children while the mom is not there. So I feel as though it can be very supportive if the person is trusted. And that's what makes a difference. Obviously, you won't have a drug kingpin come in and pick your kid from school. But definitely, you want to make sure it's a trusted person, someone that, you would trust with your own biological child.
Melissa, I need you to know that Brittany's going to have a conversation with you after about that statement. Okay. Just need you to know. I could tell by her reaction. Go ahead, Brittany.
So yeah, I guess Mel will talk. But I just want to point out that when the kids first come into foster care, to possibly just kind of go easy with introducing them to so many new people. It is a really big change in their life. They are going through a lot of different emotions, a lot of big emotions. So introducing too many people too fast can also be counterproductive. So I agree that, it takes a village to raise a child and everybody needs help with their kids. Foster kids, bio kids, everybody needs help at some point in time. However, you don't want to introduce the foster child's trying to bond with you, trying to kind of gauge where you're at and kind of feel your emotions and everything. And then it could be also foster siblings in a home that they're trying to bond with. And then they're also still tied to their bio family and friends. And then now here's another 5 people that could possibly pick you up from school. It could be overwhelming. So just try to keep that in mind. Make sure that we're taking it easy as the kids, come into the home, and and kind of gauge where the child is at. Maybe the child's not ready for you guys, for your entire family to go bowling on a Saturday night with 30 new people. So just try to keep that in mind when we are integrating the foster child into the home.
Hi, Lauren.
Also to kind of piggyback off of what Malicia said about them being trusted individuals, I think it's also important that actually off of what both Malicia and Brittany said, giving time to adjust a little to the immediate people who are going to be in their life, and then once introducing and getting to know more people, building trust between the child and that person before things like having them around for going out, or specifically things like being picked up from school, coming over after school for childcare, or things like that, being alone with somebody else. And I think that giving also a child agency to say, no, I'm not comfortable with so and so coming to my basketball game at this time, giving them the option of saying, like, oh, so and so asked if they could come watch your game, or we were thinking of having this family come over for a movie night. How do you feel about that? And letting them know it's okay to say no if you don't feel comfortable before planning something, because I think that giving a child the opportunity to be uncomfortable is okay as well. And not making them feel like you have to be comfortable with everybody that comes into your life, when we all know it takes time to build relationships with people.
Lauren,
Yeah.
I think also, to your point, there are situations where they could say no, right? No, I'm not comfortable going, or no, I'm not comfortable with this person. And in those situations where that's not a possibility, right? How do we safety plan around it? What are some things we can do to be comfortable? What are some signals if we need to take space? What are some, who can you stay with the whole time? All of those things. So I think that's a really good strategy is talking beforehand, and what is that comfortability and how do we work with it to make it more comfortable? I think that's a great point. On the flip side, how do we talk to to Brittany's, I think she said like 30 family members. That's one big family, by the way. How do we talk to these 30 family members as we're getting a placement? What are we telling them? How are we preparing them for this new change, this new person?
Being inclusive and proactive, letting your family know that, I was considering, fostering, having conversations around, informing them beforehand what it can look like, how the kids' behaviors can be. If it's therapeutic foster care, kind of giving them heads up that this child may not come, with, all put together as you would assume a child would be, kind of giving them heads up on behaviors and things that may happen or how things can escalate. It all goes by the preparedness, but trying to prepare your family the best way you can, and not just the family that's going to be in the home. In the event that you're trying to have trusted family members look after this child, giving them, being honest about how this child can, because I think that people assume that if you're adopting a child that they're fine, or the environments are perfect that they're coming from, being candid about their traumas, not necessarily going in debt, but in a way to let them understand that they've experienced trauma, and these are some of the behaviors that they may exhibit because of the trauma that they've experienced. And just preparing the people around you that will be in this child's life as much as the people who are in the home, if you are looking to, integrate, as Brittany would say, your family and the people in your home into that child's life.
Other thoughts?
Oh, sorry.
No,
Emma,
Emma,
then
you
no, go ahead,
Okay.
Emma, then Ellie. Thanks.
I think it's important also, like before or at the beginning of like getting the placement, that maybe like the foster, like the main, like the the core people in the home, like have a
There could be
conversation
4 of
with
them. You're not wrong.
my family's 4, so I think that's where that came from. But I was also thinking core family members, so I don't know, whatever. But I think it's important that they kind of have the conversation with the extended family or close friends or whoever, that like maybe they won't be spending as much time with them, and it like, or they might not be able to go to every family gathering or every family event. And it's nothing against them, it's not that they're avoiding them or anything, but it's just the fact that they have to do what's best for the child coming into the home, and it might not always be in their best interest to always be going to events with the family, and it might be too overwhelming or things like that.
I like that, like sort of laying out how this could change. Morning, Ellie.
Good morning. I think it's just the same as Emma and Melissa, just making sure you are open and honest with everyone that you want involved or supporting you, but also having them be open and honest as much as possible with you. Maybe, like prior, like Emma said, just having, prior to fostering, just having like a big meeting just to see what people think. I mean, you're going to do it, for a reason. So it's just, I think honesty and the openness is very important, just to get it all out there, all the feelings, all the emotions, what can happen, what can't happen, what it's going to look like, what may it look like, just, that. I forgot what else I was going to say, but yeah, just like the openness and honesty with all the parties that are going to be involved in this.
Thank you. Okay, last topic. Do you find that foster parents often struggle to ask for help? Yeah, Brittany's saying true. She's back. Yes, Brittany. Brittany had no hesitation on that one. And I see most of you. I generally find that as well. I'm gonna wrap up. What is the one piece of advice you would say to them in asking for that help? Why is it so important?
I think well, first of all, I think that it's true of foster parents. I also think it's true of a lot of us that work in this field. We are all really, really bad at asking for help because we want to be able to do it all. We take care of other people, we help other people, we support other people. And I'm saying we because it's something I struggle with too. But I think it's the age-old analogy of you can't give from a cup that's empty. Like if you're not taking care of yourself, you are not physically, mentally, emotionally capable of having anything left to give anybody else. And that analogy is something I often think about, again, myself. Just where am I at today? Am I doing what I need to do to take care of myself so that I'm able to be there for clients, be there for staff, be there for my family, all those different things. So that's the analogy I constantly go back to, is you cannot pour from a cup that's empty. It has to be full in order to be able to give to other people.
Yeah, hi, Lauren. And then Brittany.
I think that this is something that stands true for not only foster parents, but even biological parents as well. I think that I agree with Mariah that we often do want to feel like we can handle things, but I think that it's simply part of human experience that we can't do things all alone all the time. And we all need some form of social support, whether it be from a family member, a professional support, community support in terms of, support groups for foster parents, religious group supports if you're a part of that community. I don't think that people are meant to shoulder everything in their life by themselves. But I think that often we can feel like, you don't want to be a burden to others. I think that there can sometimes come a form of shame by feeling like I took on this responsibility and I should be able to handle it. Maybe you don't feel comfortable saying I need help, because I think the biggest thing a person can do for themselves is say I need help. I think that's one of the bravest things a person can do. And it's really hard. It's something we learn, and it's something hard to do for, I think, most people. But I don't think that we as humans are meant to be able to shoulder everything on by ourselves.
I couldn't agree more. All right, Brittany, wrap it up for us.
My advice would be that many of these kids come with teams in place, like our FFT team and DCF social workers, and we all play a role. And I feel foster parents should fully lean into that, lean into the supports that you have. These kids don't just come alone, they come with supports. And the more that you let us know, the more that we can help. So to just, of course, be open and honest, but the kid doesn't come alone on purpose. It's the reason why we're all here. So fully utilize that. And, we're here anytime anybody needs help. And yeah, just here to support everyone, especially on our FFT team.
That was an amazing last statement. You couldn't have said it. That was amazing. Brittany, thank you. I'm so glad we ended on that. And she's got something to top it. Please do.
No, I just wanted to say these last couple meetings, I've been ending with great statements. So I'm just gonna, put the crown on, and that's it.
You know what? I actually think we should give her a crown for the next one, guys. Right? We can all we could get one from Burger King and color it in and everything. You will
There
have
actually might be a filter that has the crown.
All right. So we're going to work on this, guys. We will see you in February with Brittany wearing a crown. Thanks, everybody.